the DNVR Avalanche pregame show. Rudo, Jesse, and Blais coming at you live before what could be considered a hockey game, I guess.
It's definitely being played.
It's going to be played.
It's the pre-COVID show.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the pre-COVID show indeed. So, if you don't know, there are 10 players across both teams in COVID protocol for this hockey game. 3 for the Avs, 7 for Nashville, and a handful of coaching and support staff on Nashville's side as well, also in protocol. To me, it's absolutely insane that they're playing this hockey game.
Yeah. Like, from the Preds standpoint, right, this morning you get news that Dan Heinold, that's supposed to be your head coach, has also been placed
because
in
John
COVID
Hines
protocol.
was already in protocol.
Yeah. So what do you do there?
So I'm split here because on one hand I'm glad they're playing it, just because based on what we were talking about right before we got going, right, with this Omicron.
I think it's just Omicron. I don't think there's that extra N.
Is there not an extra N in there?
So,
all right, well, then I'm just going to... this latest variant...
there you go. That's the way.
You picked that up from me.
Yeah.
I think I was adding that in.
I've been saying that extra N for a while now, so thank you. From what it sounds like, this version of it is much more transmissible, but the effects are, for the most part, obviously there's exceptions to every rule, right? But for the most part, it sounds like this one is much, much, much milder symptoms. The rate of hospitalizations and stuff like that is significantly smaller than what we've seen with past variants. TSN had someone on the other day, a doctor. I don't know what his position was with the Canadian health officials or whatever. But he was basically saying...
Is that accurate? I have no idea if that
What?
comment is true or not.
Oh, Francois starting? I assume he would. No way.
Like, yeah, that guy could just be making that up. It could be 100% true. We don't know.
But so they were saying that, look, with the way that this is transmitting...
What? Oh, great. So 11 players in protocol.
Wow.
Nice. I love this.
They can't even stay healthy to the start of the game.
Yeah, seriously.
Surely, the guy who probably took morning skate and is now in protocol with the Avs. Yeah, they're going to have to use an e-bug.
E-bug tonight
as
with
the backup.
Pavel Francouz making his first NHL
in
regular season
20 months.
Yeah, in almost 2 years.
It's going to be a great game, y'all. It's going to be a great game.
So, like, on one hand, look, I'll speak on the side of the crowd that, these are elite athletes, they're in top tier condition. On that side, I am glad they're going through with it. From everything we know about this latest variant, a lot of these guys, especially since almost the entire NHL is vaccinated, they're going to get it, and you hope that they're going to be able to move on pretty quickly without any long-standing side effects, things like that. So on that side of it, I'm glad they're just continuing to push through.
With I think the vaccinated count of like serious cases of Omicron is genuinely like close to zero.
Right. It's as close to zero as we've seen at any point during this pandemic. Now, on the flip side of that, you're just watching this pile up right now, and
it's out of control.
Not even from a COVID perspective, you're almost sitting here going, like, this is barely even an NHL game at this point.
So the two big problems I have is, one, this game, it's kind of whatever for the Avs, right? They're not worried about battling for a playoff spot.
Right.
2 points is whatever. But for Nashville, they could look back at their season and be like, we missed the playoffs by a point because we had to play with 14 skaters against Colorado.
And that is more of like where I'm sitting here going, man, should you be playing this? Now, Nathan McKinnon made the great point. Someone asked during media availability a couple nights ago about COVID and stuff like that. And Nathan McKinnon said, look, like, we are playing 33 games in 50-something nights.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where do we make these up? Now, maybe do you sit here and do you say you're getting pretty close to having to make a decision on the Olympics? And from what I've heard, I don't think they're going to go, not because there's going to be any mass shutdowns or anything, but the protocols that they're going to have in place at the Olympics, I just don't know if...
It's something like a 5-week quarantine or something.
If you test positive for COVID at the Olympics, it is a 3 to 5 week quarantine, and the Chinese government is the ones who get to say, yes, you're good to go. No, you're not good to go. So, I mean, look, like you could go through, is it China or Japan?
China.
Okay, yeah. So you could go through the entire Olympics. You could play the entire tournament. And the night before the gold medal game, you could test positive for COVID, and you are now stuck in China for 5 weeks.
Yep.
And the league is not waiting 5 weeks to get back going after the Olympics. So I don't think that players are going to want to go. I think, unfortunately, I don't even know if the Olympics are going to go on at this point in general, and maybe that would be best case scenario for the NHL. They get punted to 2022, and you get to have all your players go. But
we did touch on this a little bit on one of the pods. I think it was on Tuesday's pod. It's like, even if they don't go, though, now those venues are starting to schedule other things in place
for sure.
of hockey games, because they've got to make that revenue. So unless those things start getting canceled off and something happens, it's just going to be a three week break with nothing going on.
From what I've heard, the 3 week break isn't going anywhere. That will stick. Now, where I was going with that, and I lost my own train of thought, was, look, I mean, if you have to cancel a bunch of games here over the next 10, leading up to the Christmas break, like you said, it's going to be tricky because some of these venues are going to be booked up. But I'm sure you can find a spot for 3 games within those 3 weeks if you need to. And I think that needs to be where you're seriously looking right now.
I think the more immediate solution is just give teams cap relief for their COVID protocol players.
Yeah. That's a great point.
If they were given cap relief, the Avs could call up a whole swath of dudes in Nashville too. But instead, the Avs are having to do things like sign Callahan Burke to an NHL contract, so they have a deal that is cheap enough for them to call up and still fit under the cap.
Right.
It wasn't very well put together by the NHL. We'll put it that way. But
I just really don't. And like, this is going to sound. I always hate saying stuff like this because as much as we can sometimes feel like these leagues are run by people that don't know what they're doing, there's a lot of very smart people that talk about all this stuff, and a lot of people who have been around for a long time. Exactly what you just said, Rudo. I cannot believe that they don't have anything in place in terms of cap relief, and that is my only issue with them going forward with this game tonight is, I mean, the Avs are adding players to the COVID list by the hour right
literally
now.
45 minutes before puck drop.
And Nashville has put like double-digit numbers of people from their organization within the last 18 hours on the COVID list. You don't have enough time to get people in, regardless of the cap situation. The Avs are in Nashville. Their expansion team, holy shit. Their farm team is here in Loveland. Nashville's is in Milwaukee. Like, you don't have the time to get people there regardless of the cap situation, and you're literally, depending on what happens in the next 30 minutes, we're going to see a game played between a roster of like 16 guys and a roster of 15 guys, and it's going to be, I don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be blank.
Genuinely, I had no clue what this game is going to look like. We had some topics that I threw up before the COVID got significantly worse on these two teams, so I guess we can talk about it a little bit. Assuming no more COVID announcements, the Avs are going to play with 17 skaters, 6 defensemen, 11 forwards. The obviously biggest knock here in the Avs lineup is Burakovsky being in COVID protocol, leaving Mikko and McKinnon with no one on their right side. I guess Mikko can play the right, sort of, but on their left side then, because that's the side Landy plays on.
You're going to need Frankie playing on the right.
Yeah, genuinely, that's what it feels like. And, we were talking about this before the show, and we could tell you, LOC will probably be back on the top line or whatever, but let's just be real. By minute 10 of this hockey game, everyone's going to be playing with everyone.
Yeah. I think you'll see lines 1, 2, and 3 get one rep where it's like, oh, okay, I know. Okay, I can see what they're going for there. Yeah. Maybe a second shift where they roll with the same guys. But after that, I mean, you're going to be short forwards on both sides.
Yeah.
There's no way each team is playing with 12 forwards. So you're automatically going to have someone double shift, which is going to mess up everything. Like, honestly, this is going to roll like beer league style tonight.
Yeah, you're going to roll 3 centers and 4 sets of wings.
Go in at the door on the right, and then whoever's first up.
Next guy up, and then you guys figure out what position you're playing.
Whichever door is closest to your own goal, just go out that one and just talk while you're out there. Like, that's seriously what it's going to be by the end of this. I think LOC gets to start on that top line, assuming he plays. But
hard to assume anyone's going to play at this point.
Yeah.
I was listening to Preds media today, and they were like, I don't even understand how we're playing this game right now. Like, it makes no sense what's going on where, certain teams are getting postponements and then other teams are just playing.
Carolina and Minnesota got a postponement with like half the COVID cases that are in this game right now.
Yeah. Well, and especially, and the only reason why I guess, look, I don't have an issue with them pushing through on the COVID side of it, based on everything we know about this latest variant, based on what we know about the vaccination numbers, based on what we know about the new old protocols they put back in place. Coaches will be wearing masks and stuff on the bench tonight. With all of that, I genuinely don't. As someone who has been a big supporter of mask up, get your vaccine, I've got my booster, all that stuff, I don't have an issue with them pushing on the COVID side of it. I do have an issue because you just haven't taken the right steps to account for something like this.
Yep.
And giving teams the ability to ice. I'm not even going to say competitive rosters, complete rosters. you know, on a night like tonight, seriously, you'd be having 2 teams with a bunch of AHL guys playing where you can't really, neither one can really point at the other saying, oh, well, their roster was in much better shape. You're both going to be depleted. You're both missing key guys. It's the fact that you are going to be playing very, very short. And where I started on this was, we've seen them just do 3-4 day pauses for teams.
Yep.
I don't get what the issue is with postponing tonight, knowing that you've got a 3-week block in February you'll probably be able to dip into at this point. Postpone tonight and let these teams get back to it on their next game, but allow them to get some guys with them, get some roster spots filled. You're assuming Berkey and Comfer are positive tests.
You would assume, yeah.
Yeah, you're out till after the Christmas break. They're not going to cancel games until the Christmas break, but you're going to be feeling a lot better about who you have. And I just realized if Kemper's out, losing JoJo already stings.
Annanen's about to come back for the backup job. Frankie, I hope you stay healthy, bud, because you're about to get a lot of work.
Yeah.
I do want to caveat all this. We're not doctors. Go talk to a doctor if you have serious questions about this stuff. This is just what we've seen reported and all of that.
This is our ideas of other people's ideas.
Yeah, right.
I also want to say, from the Avs standpoint, it's fine. You play this game, you get to rest tomorrow.
Yeah,
now, the
Nashville has to go play
Preds
another
have to
game.
jump on a plane, get to Chicago, and then play Chicago tomorrow night. Not even just from the COVID standpoint, for the people that are healthy, think about, you have to exert yourself more. You have a shortened bench. There's risk of injury that comes into play here. And just fatigue overall.
Yep. I would be furious if I was the Predators that the NHL are allowing this game to happen, but
it's just it just doesn't seem. And I don't know. Who knows? Maybe we're going to end up having this barn burner of a game that's going to be super fun and exciting. But I just can't imagine.
Annanen can't fly out that fast. The game starts in 20 minutes.
Right. Yeah, there's not. Yeah, the technology doesn't exist to get him.
We don't have teleporters.
Yeah. I just. Honestly, even the league, there's no way that league officials are excited about the product that's going to be on the ice for tonight.
Yeah, right.
In this game in particular.
It's going to be brutal.
And there's several other teams around the league who are going through the exact same thing. And I think this is the frustration for a lot of people, right? Is some teams are getting shut down while others aren't. Teams that don't have it as bad as the Predators do got postponed for a week. Other teams that aren't quite as bad as the Predators got postponed for 3 days. And there's just, again, no real baseline for
they're just making it up standards as they go. Yeah.
And this one really does just feel like a lack of preparation. Again, on the virus side of it, I don't have an issue with them continuing to play through. From the logistics and product on the ice standpoint, I'm kind of with you, Rudo. I'm really surprised that they're putting this game on.
All right. So I guess we can talk about weak spots. On the Predator side, not only do they have all these dudes in protocol, both Forsberg and Duchesne game time decisions.
Yep.
So they may genuinely be icing like 3 NHL forwards in this hockey game. I have no idea. On the Avs side, defensively, since they're going 11-6, they still have Makar and Girard at the top, but their defense gets real shaky really quick, as their third D tonight is probably Eric Johnson, followed by Justin Barron, and then their bottom pair is Curtis McDermott and Jordan Gross.
Yeah.
Justin Barron, I'm glad you got up for one game, and it was nice and smooth.
We totally forgot about Jack Johnson.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so there you go.
How did we forget about the Johnson and Johnson pairing at all moments?
I just assumed his face was still broken, but
Yeah.
so 11-7 then. The Avs can actually ice a full roster.
Well, so they can put.
I guess McDermott could be at forward, but can he though?
I'd rather have him there than playing D.
I've actually liked him at forward. I mean, it's relative.
He's better than D
I've
at forward. I give it that.
You know, man, I haven't been on a show, a pre or post game show in like a week. I want to give a shout out to Curtis McDermott, dude. That guy is working his ass off, and I swear to God, I was sitting up in the press box the other night, and I watched him. His back skating and his transitions look smoother. Not saying he's lighting the world on fire, but he looks smoother. And he was bringing a puck up ice, and his skating looked noticeably better. And it was actually something Jared Bednar commented on after the game, that he's putting in the work. And to me, again, I think there's still an obvious gap there, but he's looking better. And I think if tonight you have to put him in at forward, he's passable, especially given what's on the other side.
And you can hide him. You can hide him up there.
Right.
This game, Curtis McDermott might be in the upper half of talent.
Yeah.
So it's just where it is. Look, no one can tell you what's going to happen in this hockey game right now. There's genuinely no clue what this is going to look like. But that does mean there could be some opportunities on the betting side of things. According to Blais, so far through December, he's hit 90% of his bets.
I've placed 30 bets and won 27 of them on Avs games.
So
other sports not so hot, but Avs games.
We don't need to talk about the other sports. We're only talking about Avs bets right now. So, Blais, what are the people betting on today?
I mean, this one is so crazy. I would probably say maybe skip this game. But if you do want to play some bets, now with Kemper being on the bench, I would probably take the over. It was at 6 goals. And I think it was like a -110 when I purchased it.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, we just told you what the Avs defense looks like. Jordan Gross's first game with the Avs.
Yep. I mean, let's go to a positive.
Sure.
Mikko Rantanen, I believe last game had a hat trick against the Predators.
Yep.
Right now, for points, Mikko over 1.5 is a +165. So there's some value there, and he might be the one that's being double shifted. So he's gonna have a lot of time on the ice tonight.
Even the Nashville in-game host has COVID.
Man,
how is this game happening?
It's literally everyone.
Entire coaching staff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And part of their AHL stuff.
AJ says hi, by the way, chat.
It is UC Saros, by the way.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
No,
Yes.
okay.
Big night for juice.
Look,
It's going to see a lot of shots.
I don't know.
We can all use another one.
Go find the most random dude on DraftKings to bet on to score a goal tonight, because that feels like what this game's going to be.
I'm going to have Berkey on here. That's going to just get refunded.
I did take Nathan McKinnon as an anytime goal scorer at +140.
Yeah.
You got to like the high-end talent of Mikko and Mac tonight, I think, for the Avs.
Especially if there's no Forsberg, no Duchesne.
They're going to play like 30 minutes tonight.
Oh, dude.
Because they got nobody else.
Yeah.
And then the other ones, obviously, power play points for
Yo.
Kale
And
and
the
Nas.
the
Shout out-
Kale power play points feel
Yeah.
pretty automatic
Yeah.
these days. But
This e-bug has a nasty setup.
is it sick?
Nasty. Clean as hell.
Let me. Ooh, it doesn't fit the Avs colors at all, but it's sick.
But I'm sure it looks dope in whatever league he plays in. Yeah. Wait a minute.
What?
Oh, okay. He's wearing 32. The thumbnail looked like 52, and I was like, wait a minute.
You can't wear that number. That's not.
Like e-bug or not, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, Nathan McKinnon, I think,
I think that's
That feels like a pretty-
That's a good bet.
yeah, that feels like a good one for tonight.
Yeah,
Why? He only has 3 goals.
Because he's
Why?
the only
Because
one
of the town
playing.
he's playing against.
What's the
Shutout at plus 850.
Frankie? That's not even that good of odds at plus 850.
I like it. I like the confidence.
Frankie's
here.
first
That's
game
bold.
in 20 months.
That's bold.
Isn't that exactly when a goalie would get a fucking
Maybe,
shutout, though? Like,
maybe.
this guy hasn't played in 6 years. Shutout.
That's very true.
Yeah.
He just got here. He was running a little late today, AJ. So he gets a pregame show
He pulled
off.
a Blais.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. The best bet on tonight is the under over of someone getting pulled mid game for COVID protocol. But
That should have a line. There's a Vancouver player that was pulled off the ice a couple nights
Yeah.
ago for COVID.
Yeah.
And see, that is the stuff where, again, I have an issue with the processes behind all this. I don't have an issue with them continuing to play. But, like, how is it?
How did you not
are
get those results
getting a
before the
result
game?
after the
Yeah.
game starts? And that's the stuff where, and look, I know the NHL has confines that they have to operate within as well. You know, working with local health officials and testing sites. I get it. You can't lay that all at the feet of the league or the teams. But, like, that seems like something that probably shouldn't be happening right now, where your testing just isn't efficient enough to have those results back before 2 teams step on the ice.
yeah,
Pulling guys mid-game, like
I mean,
and at that point, why even pull him? At that point, why not just let him finish the game?
you've infected everyone already.
Right. It's like just
I don't know. I don't have the answers, but playing this game just feels insane to me. But look, this is going to be a nutty game. I don't really have anything else to tell you, so we're just going to wrap up this pregame show early and call it good, because by the time this game goes off air, someone else is going to be in COVID protocol and everything's going to change.
I was talking to my mom on the phone when I was on my way up here, and she was like, "Well, what time's the game?" I was like, as of right now, I'm operating under the assumption that it will be canceled until the puck actually drops. I'm assuming that eventually when you get to the point and be like, we just don't have enough guys that are eligible to play.
The officials have COVID.
Yeah. With Jack Johnson, who we forgot about, and Jordan Gross coming up, I think they move McDermott to forward, and I actually think, assuming nothing else happens, the Avs should be able to ice 18 skaters.
I don't know. I think they still might be short
I'm assuming they will be.
because Comfer is out too. And they didn't.
Yeah.
Were they running an extra scratch? No, they sent Magna back down, right? So
Yeah, so you may be right.
So it ends up being McDermott at forward to make it 11-6.
To make it passable, yeah.
Brutal.
Who was it? Vegas last year that had to go with like
It was like 15 or 16.
guys? Yeah, I
yeah.
think 15, 16
And it's
with
just,
the goalie.
Just give them cap relief. Just give
Right,
the cap
right,
relief
yep.
for COVID guys.
That's seriously, I'm totally fine with tonight if you give the teams cap relief and allow them to fill out rosters. Like you said, Blais, you're starting to talk about, especially for a team like Nashville, you're gonna have guys that are gonna have to skate a lot of minutes tonight and then go play a back-to-back tomorrow.
Jump on a plane
Right.
and go play
Now,
again.
Chicago, pretty close to Milwaukee, so...
Yeah.
Although, again, they have no cap relief, so it doesn't matter.
All right. We're going to get out of here. Whatever happens in this game, whatever it is, you can get just post-game live. So be sure to tune into that as we talk about something that is close to a hockey game, maybe. But,
We'll
yeah.
have hockey sticks, that's for sure.
Until then, we'll talk to you later.